also wonder if a part of what people are thinking a soft life is a life of ease, a life without struggle.
Yes.
And I don't think that's realistic of life. Like,
hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Buffet Podcast. I am your boy, Brandon. And I am joined once again by the incomparable, my partner and co-host, Ciandra.
yay. Hey, y'all. It's Ciandra.
Hey, welcome back. This time we got video for y'all. Apologize for last week. We had some technical difficulties. On like half a picture. You know, Ciandra was all the way cut out.
He was trying to cut me
off. Man, I
can't
do y'all like that. I'm going to get, viewers going to get comments like she said. See?
Excuse me. I was allergic to the BS.
Ooh. Ow.
No, I'm just kidding. I think Brandon did it on purpose. But yes, that's why we couldn't share, even though it was our anniversary episode.
Yeah, it was.
2 years in. Thank y'all for listening to us.
Yeah.
And we're happy to see you this week.
And we're happy for y'all to see us.
Yeah.
So we're back at it once again, episode 84. And, you know, now is the time. Go ahead, you know, take a quick pause and go ahead, you know, like and subscribe. We're going to give you a couple seconds to go ahead and do that for us real quick. We appreciate it. All right. We appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do it. Do it now. Now, we ready, babes? We finna get right into it.
Yeah.
As usual.
Welcoming vulnerability. And when you're more vulnerable, things...
I'm going to refresh it. I don't know if that was...
So I want to make a quick message for people who are struggling through their soft girl era. First, I think everyone should be actively chasing a softer life. But I feel like there's some parts of the softness conversation that are getting left out. One, choosing softness means welcoming vulnerability. And when you're more vulnerable, things can hurt a little harder than they used to. When I first chose softness, it felt like the world got harder. But it was actually because I was giving myself space and time to actually feel my emotions versus jumping into solution mode, putting on the Superwoman cape, and just jumping into fixing the problem so we can keep shit moving. So my first experience in my soft girl era did not feel like ease at all. It wasn't matcha teas and traveling and matching cozy sets. Like, it wasn't any of the things that are aesthetically soft. Honestly, it was quite brutal. And every day since is a challenge to stay in the soft space of asking for help, saying when I don't know how to do something, taking something off of my plate versus trying to just do it all, and just staying in this space of these feelings. It's a growing pain and it's work. But the work is worth it. So be gentle with yourself through your soft girl era. Show yourself grace through the challenge of gentle reparenting yourself. So when the ease comes, because it will, you can actually enjoy it.
Okay. Right.
So first, this was supposed to be our topic last week.
Yeah.
We intended to spend time thinking about and talking about this, but we spent more time focused on the first part of the clip from last week. And where these two clips connect is, I think, in the end of last week's clip, there was a statement made of like, I just want to be soft. I just want someone to love me for being who I am. And I think this ties into what this message is in this particular video of like, you got to be vulnerable. You have to be more willing to share your feelings and feel your feelings. You have to be more willing to ask for help, which is also very vulnerable. You have to be more willing to delegate and like relinquish control of things, which also feels a little bit more vulnerable.
Sounds scary.
It do.
Yeah. So this topic is about the soft life, which is something I personally had never heard of until maybe a couple of weeks ago. I stumbled across the term, and apparently it's booming online, specifically TikTok and stuff about like the soft life. And you know, if you look into it, there's a lot of messaging around it. And if you look at it now, it looks like it's one of those things that it started off with phenomenal, like good intentions and like with a great idea, and then people being people kind of twisted and turned it into something that it's like not. It turned it from something that was quite deep to something that seems almost kind of shallow. So
I think that comes along with most things that become popularized. It's because it gets redefined over and over again or re-simplified over and over again to make it more palatable to more people.
Right.
And I don't think that serves the initial concept well, but it does serve in terms of like awareness, right? So like people will hear soft life and think something, even if that's not 100% correct. And that helps with awareness. And then that at least can open the door to correction. Like at least if you know what it is, maybe you're more willing to be corrected and hear what it can be or what more of the benefits might be for you. Because I think even like, you know, the argument can be made that this happens with people too, like celebrities as well, right? Like you go viral for one clip and then people think that's all of who you are and all of what you stand for. And so I think as soft life has become more popular, there are different variations of soft life, and most of those variations have to do with aesthetic, like what you mentioned in the video. And
drinking matcha tea.
Yeah, those things are more palatable. Those are more easy to market to other people.
It's because it sounds easy. It sounds like nothing but upside. It sounds like, all I got to do is just treat yourself, but all the time.
Yeah, just
like, I could do that. You know what? I liked it. Soft life sounds so. It sounds so like it's a title that like no one can like dispute. Like, so someone say, I'm just treating myself. People be like, you know, you can get some judgment behind that. You treating yourself all the time, like damn, you know. But you say, no, I'm just on my soft girl. Like that sounds kind of nice. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I can't speak ill against that. I feel like it's just a repackaging of treat yourself. At least that's how some of the content on that can be. But like through deeper digging, we came across this clip here about, the soft life is just allowing yourself to be soft. That means like doing the work and being vulnerable and things of that nature. And that is hard. And that's not something that everyone is wanting to do. That doesn't sound fun, that going through that process. So I can understand why it could have been remixed and things of that nature to be something that like to be more palatable to everyone else. So I guess at this point, in case if you are unaware, I guess like the soft life is a concept. I'm not 100% sure who came up with it, but I'm assuming it was a Black woman, about being soft, quote unquote. And that involved, like I said, allowing yourself to express those softer, more emotions and allowing yourself to be vulnerable in situations while, like you said, asking for help and delegating and doing all these type, and this being overall it's kind of like a vibe, so it's just coming off as more of a softer, gentler, quote unquote, more nurturing presence, as opposed to having your walls up and be defensive and feeling like you got to be tough in order to move through life. I'm at this point, I'm not 100% sure if this is a woman only thing or if that has been taken and there's I don't know,
soft men.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty sure that doesn't seem.
I don't think that men would opt for soft as the word.
That's factual. So yeah, and so that was the originating concept behind it, and of course, people took and ran with it and with their own different versions. And if you look, it's a lot of like, oh, today I woke up and I had like a bubble bath and like tea, and I'm making sure I'm just going to a spa day and making sure the music and ambiance is always right, and nothing wrong with it, but like it can paint a, I guess, inaccurate picture. But that's all I got for it right now.
Yeah, I also wonder if a part of what people are thinking a soft life is a life of ease, a life without struggle.
Yes,
and I don't think that's realistic of life. Like, there's always going to be some struggle. There's always going to be some tension, some things for us to have to negotiate our way through and navigate through. And so I think in choosing to be soft, much like what the girl said in the video, you're choosing to like be present and feel those feelings anyway, not suppress them, not like avoid them, not avoid them, not even do what is quote unquote soft and self-medicate your way through them. Don't just go get a tea or go get your nails done or something to like, self-preserve yourself through something instead of actually like addressing what's going on. And I think there's room for ease. I definitely think choosing the easier path is something that we could all do a little bit more of. I think that there is I would say for me in particular, I'm realizing that like I expect things to be a little bit challenging, and I enjoy a challenge. Like I'm one of those people who likes a little thrill, a little like roller coaster. I like a little, heart pumping something, a little adrenaline. And that's great for certain areas of your life. But if there is an easier path to get something done, you don't have to choose the hard path. Like you don't have to choose to like put all these rules on yourself. I'm infamous for doing that. Like, okay, the goalpost is here. Nah, that's not hard enough. Move the goalpost 50 yards down. I need to, strive for this. Like, feel like I really accomplished something. And I didn't really accomplish anything unless it was very hard. And I felt challenged by it every single time. Yeah. And I think the soft life for me would have to include more ease, would have to include me like actively choosing the easier path and not feeling bad about it. Because I think the other thing for me is like, that's kind of lazy. I'm going to lie. I could go harder than that. If I just push myself a little bit more, if I just like strive a little bit more, I could do the more challenging thing. There's no reason for me to do the easier thing. So I would say that would be a part of the soft life for me if I were to choose it.
And you jumped ahead on my question. I was gonna. Ooh, there you go.
No, I didn't come.
Okay,
that's what she said.
No, it's not. And
you won't let me make any of the funny "that's what she said" jokes.
I mean, you can sing them, and our woman audience will laugh. Well, I just gotta like no, that's not what she said. But
I'm not the she.
She by she I mean you. You like jumped ahead on me a little bit. I was going to ask you like, do you think that the soft life as was originally intended? Sometimes you have a word that and it suddenly starts sounding weird. But yeah,
remixed in your mouth.
As it was intended, do you think that is something that in general more women could use in their life, and more specifically you as well? They speak on the general and then bring it into you.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a person that I know who had an experience where in dealing with like contractors or like people to do repairs for them, they weren't like respecting her as a woman, right? Like they just weren't listening to her. They weren't taking heed to whatever it is that she was saying. But if she ever had a male around, they would speak directly to the male. They would like address the male and answer the male's questions. And I think for that particular person, they took it as a slight. Like, no, I don't want it. I mean, I don't want anybody else here. I want them to talk to me. I want them to, address me. And I agree with that. I definitely understand space of like, this is my space. Like you should address me because I am the owner, and a feeling of like, okay, this is patriarchy, this is sexism, whatever. And like, they aren't addressing me. But I also think that the easy way to get the thing that you want to get done right now sounds like just let this person who is in this space like you tell him all the things that you want to be said, all the things that you want to be handled, and you let that person handle it. It like makes me think of what Chris Rock was saying in his special about like dating older women, and like older women want you to get their roof fixed. Older women want you to go to the car dealership with them.
It comes with it.
Yeah, because they don't want to be yanked around, because they recognize some of the benefits of like having a male presence, of like they're going to treat this man differently than they won't will treat me.
They're less likely to try to okie doke you.
Yeah.
Because they don't think you don't know shit.
And I'm going to use the benefit of having this man to provide some ease in my life, to let me be soft, to let me just be like, hey, these are the things that I feel like need to be done. Make sure you do that. Can you communicate with me once it's done or whatever? Right. But like, I don't feel like I have to have so much control that I need to be right there in the moment, a part of everything. There are things that I am comfortable and happy to allow you to do. And I think that is a part of where some women can be softer.
Okay. And I hear that. And I can agree, like allowing that thing to ease. Like I feel like men don't have a problem deferring to women in an area in which we know things will either go much more smoothly if you were to handle it, or if it's something that you are more adept or just better at doing, I guess I would say, or like more, maybe not even better at doing, maybe just like more willing to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, yeah, we gotta do this thing, but you don't mind doing it. I know I can do it myself, and I'm okay with it, but I really don't care to do it. And I was like, well, I don't have no problem letting you do that, especially if I know it's going to, it's not going to hurt anything, and it's perhaps even going to make something a little bit more easier. Mm-hmm. Funny thing about your example about bringing a guy with you to like the car shop and things, it's quite possible that you may know more about the shit than the dude do, but just off the strength of a man being there, I think it's just like they're less likely to try to do you dirty. I mean, they still gonna try to do you dirty. Maybe they probably ain't gonna try to do you as dirty as much, I guess. And I think the reverse is definitely also true. I think we all know and understand that, like, when it comes to anything social, when there's a woman in the face of it, people are definitely more apt to take it seriously. Like, that's the reason why you go to a restaurant, the hostess is usually a woman, because it's just it gives vibes. It gives like a more welcoming, I don't know, type of thing. It's like I think a lot of social interactions or just like inner socialization goes smoother when it's like women. I think depends on what the social thing is, but it's in general. I'm just picking that up. I'm just like pulling that from the ether in my head right now. I was like, but there are definitely areas in which like the reverse is also true, when things can just go smoother if you just like send your girl to talk to the other girl. Mm-hmm. Come on now, then get your head together.
My head went there and it came out.
Yeah. Okay. So
I have one thing that I was thinking about as you were speaking. One, do you think we're being sexist?
What do you mean?
Do you think we're playing into societal norms by saying, like, if a woman knows more about cars, she should still take a man with her just so she won't get yanked around?
I mean, on one hand, I agree with you that like there isn't the reason that would have to happen is because of sexism, is that there's like inherent sexism in it. And of course, like, it shouldn't be that way, but like, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, we can agree that it shouldn't be this way. And then like, yeah, you should have the ability to go down on your own and argue the point. But it's like, but shit ain't sweet. I should be able to have all my, I should be able to I should have all my chains on and walk down a dark alley at night and not get robbed. But like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's not going to be an argument I can use to the robber to be like, nigga, I should be able to walk down here without you robbing me. Stop. And then you're like, this is not a no swiper situation where he just like, oh man. So it's like, it may be kind of playing into it, but unfortunately, like, the world is like what it is. And if you don't want to get finessed, you got to, or get finessed or avoid unpleasant or unnecessary conflict, you got to do what you got to do in order to minimize that. And if all it takes is for you to bring a male with you as a woman, I would think that eating that temporarily to avoid a potential conflict or losing hundreds, perhaps thousands of dollars on some taking your car to the dealership or whatever the hell it may be, would be worth it. You could talk about it and you could send a letter to corporate afterwards or whatever, but you got to get out of the present situation first before you can make any sort of change. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear that. And I guess I've heard this before, that like acceptance isn't approval. Acceptance is just like, it is what it is. Approval is saying like, this is good or it's bad.
Right.
So you can accept that something is what it is without approving. And I guess I was thoughtful of like, is our conversation about this communicating approval? And I don't approve. I don't think that that's right, that women should be in a space where they have to bring a man in order for them to be able to receive fair treatment. But I also accept that it is what it is. And I'm going to utilize the men in my life in those situations.
That's facts. And of course, this is not a thing that's across the board. I think it's only in like very specific situations, usually, that is true, where like you have bring a man with you. Just like, low key, like, as a man, you can't really be around kids like that without having a woman next to you on the low, without people like kind of like, what's going on here?
You mean as a single man? with the kids that aren't yours.
Yeah. So like, or if you married and you just a person that's going to like the preschool you walk into, people gonna look at you kind of like, why are you walking? Are you a grown ass man walking there? That they can assume that you might have a kid here or whatever. But it's like why there are no male preschool teachers, like for real, or like elementary school teachers for real. It's mostly like women because it's like there's something inherently like people like in society just looks at it kind of like they squint their eye. They're like, that's a little.
You keep squinting your eye.
That's kind of suspicious. But I was like, hey, that's not fair. But it's just I don't know. It just is what it is. It's unfortunate that they are these societal, I guess, expectations. I guess I would say that no longer serve a purpose, but the world it is what it is at the current moment, and we got to live in it. So we got to move, and we got to move within it. You're not gonna get shit done butting your head against the shit.
That's true, and I think again, like acceptance doesn't necessarily denote approval. And I think for your point of men not necessarily being in spaces with children, that comes from a place of like men not being primary caregivers. So it's like if the role of a dad is a protector and a provider, I don't have time to come pick you up from school or do those kind of things or be actively involved with you in that way. And I do think that there is active work from fathers to change
I'm gonna be one
that
of them.
Narrative, right? Of like, I'm like a present dad. Like I go to the playground.
Yeah, we
I pick
narratives.
these people up. Like I have an active relationship and an active role in their life, and I am a caregiver here. I'm not just like some silent grunting figure who sits on the couch.
Yeah, you ain't gotta. You're not gonna have to talk to you in order to get a message to me.
Yeah.
You gonna see me. I'm pulling up. Let's let it be known in the future. You gonna see me. Yeah, teachers gonna know me by name.
Don't get too familiar because then they get hot in the pants.
I can't help that. I can't help me. I can't help me. Just my aura. Can't help it. You know what I'm saying? But I hear and understand. I hear and understand. And also, you might be able to watch yourself too, because
you just said there was no male teachers.
No,
barely.
Who said anything about a male teacher?
I don't know any lesbian teachers.
I mean, I don't.
Just because I don't know any doesn't mean that they don't exist.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we know they exist. They absolutely exist. But I'm pretty sure they're not advertising the fact. They may.
They might.
But I'm just saying, that sense of like, don't get too close. It's not just because all teachers are women and they're going to be attracted to me, which they probably will. But I'm just saying they might, they might like a little something, a little softer, somebody living a softer life. Someone that lives a little softer life.
Oh my Lanta.
We just sniffing it up in here.
I'm sorry, y'all.
It's getting warm.
In your headphones.
It's getting warm.
Yeah.
Down here in Texas, this weather is going up and down or low. So y'all know what time it is when the weather is going hot, cold on you.
Yeah, it gets you every time.
That's how motherfuckers get sick in this bit, boy. All right. Now, with that being said, I think we kind of talked that one out right now. I'm saying, I'll leave it to y'all smart people to, research it if y'all care about it at all. And, if y'all got any questions or, anything y'all want us to bring up, holla at us and we'll circle back around to it. Now, that being said, we got another clip. We got something else we're gonna turn on for another part. All right, go ahead, play it. Hope it's not pouring.
You and Tamika have been married for 21 years. 21 years. And that's what makes you sexy. 21 years of being with your lovely wife. Do you have any tips for a great relationship?
Don't talk about it.
I take that to heart.
Yeah. I think the more you keep things private and between you and her, it's more personal that way and it lasts longer.
Thank you for that. Yeah. You and Tamika.
Okay. Is that Method?
It is Method Man, who has been married for 21 years.
21. That's wild. But it's like 21. I don't know when it happens. Like 21 years sounds like a lot, but it's not. 21 years was like 2002.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's damn.
Yeah, no, I guess that isn't that long. But 21 years, the way that it sounds, does sound like it's a long time for marriage. So I wonder what do you think about that advice? Don't talk about it.
I think it's absolutely true. I think he's spitting bars, and I'm not going to speak out against it because he's been married 21 years. So it's like, if you're asking a person the secret to the thing that he has and he tells you what it is, I'm not going to be like, oh, you must be lying. Like, you say one of the secrets is keep it on the low. They're like, don't tell everybody your business. All right, I'm gonna believe it. I mean, why wouldn't I?
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the secret. I'm not saying like, oh, all you gotta do is just not tell nobody nothing about what's going on in your relationship, and you're gonna make it 21 years. I don't think that's what he's saying at all. But I'm like, that sounds like sound counsel. You know, sometimes you can hear shit and you like, that sounds right. That sounds like that makes a lot of sense. And I agree with it, because when you speak more about what's going on in your life, you open yourself up to other people's opinions and other people's scrutiny, and they not in your life. They don't live your life. They don't know your circumstances. They don't know what type of relationship you have. You don't, nothing like that. So their opinions is based solely upon their own personal lived experience. And if it don't match with yours, their output is not going to match it's not going to line up with your, I guess, input, I guess. It's not going to match up with your life. So while their response will be appropriate for whatever their life is, it probably won't be for what's going on in your life. And it's nobody's business. You know? Ain't nobody business. But there is a I think I saw another video about something similar about that. Some women talking about saying the same thing, but it was like, okay, but there's a limit. It's your life. Like, if you're in a relationship, married 21 years, being married is a large part of your life, and it'd be impossible not to talk about, like, your not necessarily about the minutia of your relationship or anything like that, but just like about your partner or the things that y'all did because y'all were together. So it's like, I could see how it would be okay to talk about with like a close circle of friends, with friends, like with your friends and family, people that you hold close and dear. And that's understandable. You know, he's like, hey, you know, we did this thing happened. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can talk about a problem that y'all had and already overcame or something like that. But I think from this clip, I think he means mostly about keeping it off of like social media, keeping it closed off from people who don't have that shouldn't have that access to your life like that.
That's a good point, because my counter to that was like, I think that there's something to be said about keeping your relationship private and how that offers additional maybe security to your relationship, and security in the sense of, like you said, security from scrutiny, security from other people's opinions, perceptions, other people's traumas, like just their stuff being placed on you through those conversations. But I also think that you need to have a sacred and safe space of people that you can connect with, because I don't think that it's helpful to go through relationship challenges alone. Because there are things that we all experience in relationships, and sometimes it's helpful to have somebody else say like, oh, we went through that too, and have it be normalized. Like, oh shit, because when we were going through it, I thought it was the end of the world, or like this was very, very challenging for us, and I thought it was just me. I felt very alone in, you know, experiencing this. And so I think that there's a space where you need to be able to talk to people, because that offers you something, but you also have to, I guess, be thoughtful about what you share and how you share it. Because I agree with your point about social media. Like, it's too many people who've been on social media in their relationships, and then the relationship ends. And because it was on social media, you have to talk about the relationship ending the same way that you had to talk about being in the relationship. Or maybe not have to, but you can expect that people are going to ask you about it, because if it was public when y'all were together, it's also going to be public when you split. Yeah,
I definitely agree to that. And also, people who don't live your life always have, you know, the most extreme opinions about things. So like, something bad happened, you should do some wild extreme shit in response, because like people can say that because they're not living like your life. They're not bound by any of the consequences of whatever decision, you know, that you make. You know, just say, you know, your wife cheated on you, or your man cheated on you. Everybody, you should leave him, girl. If it was me, I could never. Okay, I leave. now, my ex-wife is technically a single mom. What I'm doing to my kids, what I'm doing to the family. Could this have been work throughable?
Yeah, could this have been resolved?
Right, but now, even if you work through it, now I got all these motherfuckers in my ear telling me something. Oh, your girl cheated on you, bro. Like that could never be me, boy. And then now they looking at me sideways. They treat me disrespect. Now I might be slapping niggas in the street now because they talking out their neck, about me and my family and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So there is that to consider on both sides, and then like having the embarrassment, of being cheated on both sides. Things that or whatever the issue is, and just it's not necessary for motherfuckers to really know about your shit. I could see if you talked about it after it's already been resolved, ergo like was it Jay and Beyonce shit? You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I low-key Lemonade I think broke up a lot of fucking relationships only to realize that that was years ago, and then they still together.
Yeah, they patched it up, and he had babies right after.
He had babies immediately after, but their relationship got destroyed behind. It was like, oh, Beyonce said, "Lead this nigga," like da 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 da. Like I feel empowered, girl. She stayed. This song was 3 years old when you heard it, so there's but let me bring it back. Let me reel it back a little bit. This take of be quiet about your relationship, do you think that informs a lot of what we don't see now out and about with the positive stories about marriage? You know what I'm saying? We always complain like, why we don't never hear from our elders who because we know motherfuckers is married. We know people have been married for years, but we never really hear too many of them people come out and try to get a game, to us. And you kind of see it, pieces in here because there people are actually building platforms around it, recognizing the need for it. But in general, we really don't see too many of, the elders who made it and talking about the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations about, what to expect and what you see in marriage. You just kept it real general. Like it's hard work. That's it. So do you think that has to do with the idea of, well, we know that not talking about telling motherfuckers that shouldn't be in our business, that's what helped us overcome and make it through. So we're just not going to say anything, period, at all. Mm-hmm. And do you think that could be like a consequence of that belief system of just like keeping people out your relationship?
I think so. I think that it sounds like I think that idea of like keeping people out of your business is a well-known like concept for Black people, right? Like what happens in this house stays in this house. And I think that because of like growing up with that mindset, and because of the experience of being in a relationship and maybe having shared something in the past and having that thing be thrown back in your face, I'm sure that that's a big part of the reason why people don't share what's going on in their marriage. Because I think you could be a kid, live in the house with your parents and not know what's going on in their marriage. There was a couple on... actually, Melissa and Kev, like she talked about how surprised she was that her parents got divorced. Like it was something that she hadn't like conceptualized. Like she didn't think was possible for them. She thought that they were happy. She thought things were going well. And so you can live in the house with people who are married and have a false pretense around what their marriage is because you only see what they want you to see. And so I think if the idea is I want the perception to be that I'm in a happy marriage, the only way for me to have that perception is to not share anything. Like when you see us, we together, we smile, whatever, just to be able to keep face, but you don't need to know anything else of like what's going on behind doors. And I think that does a disservice to people who are looking at couples and saying relationship goals, because if I only get to see the highlight reel, I only get to see the things that are good, when things are bad in my own relationship, I'm like, why are we not like that? Why are we even having this argument? Why aren't we
must be doing something wrong.
Exactly.
Not knowing you living, this is normal. This is regular. Yeah.
So I think that there is a space for there to be balance. In Michelle Obama's newest book, The Light We Carry, I was finna sneeze. I'm trying to let it pass, y'all, so I don't sneeze into the mic. Okay. in her book, she has a chapter about partnering well, and she talks about Barack and their relationship, and she talks about how many people idealize their relationship and talk about how good it is and think that he's perfect. And she's like, I try to let people know often that he is not perfect, that he's still a regular person, that we still have disagreements, that we still, you know, don't get along all the time. Our relationship is not perfect. And the only thing that she offers that the only thing that makes their relationship what it is the fact that they are both committed to showing up.
Ooh.
Y'all, I'm so sorry.
Dying in here.
I know. We're going to have to wrap this up soon. But she said that the only thing that makes their relationship continue to work is the fact that they're both committed to showing up. And I feel like that's all that you can ask. Like the commitment to continue to show up is a big part of what makes a relationship work. And I think that this extra thing of like not talking about it and not facing that additional scrutiny is also a part of what can make a long-term relationship work. You got to be ready and willing to sign up for making that same choice over and over again.
That's real. And to, you know, having that highlight reel of a relationship. Yeah, you like, they show up to the party and look like they're in love and they happy and haha and smiling. You don't know that the drive there and back was dead silent. Mm-hmm. They weren't even looking at each other on the phone. Well, hopefully only the passenger was on the phone. But and to Melissa part, I was like, yeah,
hot girl Meg.
The wildest part about that story, this is kind of a little tangent because, you know, we read the book. We'll talk more about that later on. But, you know, how she found out, it was like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just letting you know, we're in the process of getting divorced. It was like, I showed up one day and it was like, yeah, we got divorced. Yeah. And then here's the news. And also everybody, other people knew outside the family before me, your child, was notified. I slap everybody in that room. Disrespect me like that. I beat everybody ass in the name of the Lord. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So back to the the topic of like keeping things on the hush. To your point, there definitely needs to be a balance. I think for so long, and kind of still to this day, it has been, the pendulum has been on the side of shut your mouth. Mm-hmm. I think now it's kind of starting to swing the other way. It has, in some ways it has swung the other way in the sense of like there's a lot of shit in your face, but it's the shit that's in your face is not representative of reality. Yes.
We only see extremes.
It's like it's a toxic.
Very, very toxic, very exorbitant celebrations of love. It is nothing that's like the things that truly make relationships work. It's not the everyday because that's not exciting. It's not provocative. It's all the absolute worst like examples of a relationship, and all like the most Disney-esque to 11 levels of like love and affection, and that doesn't paint an accurate picture at all, because like those are what we call those, like on the Bell scale, those are on the far end. Those are like the minority, the 1%ers, so to speak. But you see so much of it, you start thinking that this is what it's supposed to look like. There's people out here in relationships who think that if we not arguing and like throwing shit at each other and yelling and shit all the time, that this isn't love. Like this isn't a real relationship. And on the other side, they also think that like if I'm not getting flued out and I'm not coming home every Tuesday to 10,000 flower petals and like Casey and JoJo live singing in my bedroom, that you don't really fuck with me like that. So like, I'm praying and I'm hoping that through other media and us, contributing in the way we are, we can kind of help bring the pendulum, closer to moderate in the middle, so you get a more accurate, a more balanced idea of what dating and what being in a relationship, can look like, because like everything that we see now is like a caricature of reality. So like, you see all the toxic shit, people fighting. Like, yes, you fight, not physically and throwing shit at each other, but you definitely have conflict within a relationship. You have disagreements and things like that. That is absolutely true. And then you see people getting flued out to Dubai on private jets and shit. Like, that's not happening for most of us. But somebody should treat you nice on your birthday,
but you should,
get you a gift, treat you nice on Christmas.
You do get gifts and things like that, and you will go on trips and things of that nature, and it'll look better and more baller depending on, you know, money management and what your pockets can look like. So like, yes, like on the far end, like stuff like that does happen, but like moderate it, bring it down to average to your level, to where most people live. That's where it is. And you know, hopefully you should have more good than bad. And, you know, if you're doing it right, in my humble opinion, I don't think anybody wants to be in a relationship forever where you having more bad than good. That's not a good investment. That sounds horrible. That sounds terrible. So I hope that we're doing giving y'all a little bit of peace, a little bit of an example or an idea of what, you know, a real relationship can look like out here. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. It's not horrible. You ain't got to be scared. You don't have to be scared. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. There are times where it is hard, but it is not hard.
Yeah. Agreed.
I feel like I just did my
final food for thought.
Slid in.
Look at that.
I just slid in, lubricated. I don't know where that came from.
You went very high up your arm.
I know.
It makes me think of this morning with the jeans. With the jeans.
Oh, what?
When you were able to fit your arm.
Oh, okay, yeah. When I was, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It sounded very strange.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I was like, with the jeans, I had a pair. I'm going to add context. I had a pair of jeans that I was trying to wear that were too big for me. And I was like, I wonder how far my arm can go down the jeans. And my arm went almost down to the knee. And then Brandon put his arm in the jeans, and his arm went down to past the knee. And then Brandon tried on the jeans, and Brandon could fit the jeans. So the jeans got to go, y'all. Yeah. They don't fit me. If they can fit Brandon, they can't fit me. Right?
It didn't fit me. I was able to bring them up to like,
yeah, I guess they didn't fit. You
like
could put them on
7/8 of my I could put them. I couldn't button them up and nothing like that. But just the fact that I can get them past my thigh was a red flag. It was like, you need to get rid of these motherfuckers.
Red flag.
Yeah. So the good news is our workout regimen has been working.
Yeah.
Because they're too big for her. And also the fact that I can actually put them on a little bit is an indication that your boy out here getting these gains too, getting slimming down and shit like that. Hold your horses, ladies. Nothing you can do about that. I'm already locked down.
I stinks.
Oh, I have my hand.
Excuse me. I am taking. I have waitlist. I have a waitlist available.
Babe, I was trying to hit the top one. Don't do that.
That's not the right one.
Stupid. I'm not going to let you get the chance.
Damn. She said she finished. She said,
shoot first, ask questions later.
We do live in Texas now. She got that shotgun sight.
I don't have a final food for thought besides listen to this track, chick.
All right. With that being said, we appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of the Buffet Podcast with your boy Brandon and my girl, not yours, Deandra.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.